This is Listening with Franklin Livingston, and our guest is Jennifer Tiberio Leone.
The church, I heard that it lost its congregants because the senior pastor uh, was accused by several women of sexual harassment and all that. It was really gigantic. 15 to 20,000 people used to go there. And when you go there, it used to give you a sense of being at a fair.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons for probably this pastor or whatever, money, power, your head gets huge, your ego is huge. It's not about religion anymore, it's a business, especially it's tax-free business.
Mm.
So it's all money. Now you got women throwing themselves at you. And these women are throwing themselves at you.
He wasn't even that handsome.
That's the thing. These women, they could be married women, they could be like single women. They see this person who has all this power to listen to you, to give you daily affirmations and make you feel good about you being, part of something, and they're affirming that you're a good person because you go to church and you give the church money, and you're like, I am a good person,
No, you're safe.
and now, yeah, and making you feel good, and it might be something that you're not getting at home, or something you've never gotten from anyone before. Like, say you turn to religion because you had a bad home life, and all of a sudden now this one guy who talks to you every Sunday telling you how great you are. Wow, I really like this guy.
Actually, that's very interesting you say, because I think I went there twice, and the sermon was very, I'm using this term, shallow. It was more like, okay, you're saved and that's it. It wasn't about struggles and life full of suffering.
No, because you got to cover everybody at the same time.
Yeah.
Everybody's struggle, everybody's suffer, everybody's all the
But
same.
maybe those people don't suffer because the group that was more active there, and I was told by an authentic source, were extremely wealthy.
Well, you're part of it.
Politically of a particular side, wing, right? And I was surprised. So I went there. I don't remember first time I went by myself or with someone. I don't remember at all. And they asked me the issues where I was from, and I told them the suburbs name. I wasn't sure what they were asking, but they were asking about my ethnic background. And then I learned that they make you sit with people who look like you. And no, I don't know. They might have some sort of positive reason for that. But to me, it came across more negative, more like segregation, because already Chicago is so, segregated in terms of south side of Chicago and problems there.
Right.
And then there are suburbs with Hispanic people, and then there are white suburbs. So to me, I didn't like that.
Yeah.
And
I feel like those mega churches also, there's an elitistness to it.
yeah.
So it's like being part of a club, and some people have better memberships. They get privileges over other people. They can sit in the front. I donated more money. I get better seats. I donated more money. You're going to come to my function now. So now I've got the pastor coming to my function, which means that everyone's got to respect me now, because this is a man of God. It's politics.
Yeah.
It's politics.
Why would you even go? I don't really understand. Why would you even go there? It's so you're not connected. If you want to, if you're taking your kids there for a fair so they can see Mickey
It's like
Mouse
going to
after
Disney
that.
World.
Yeah, and that's what I said, Mickey Mouse.
Like maybe
Because,
you go to your regular church all the time, but to go to one of these like mega churches, wow, I'm in it now. I've made it to the big one. You're not just at the carnival. You're at Disney.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's
It's an event.
It is, yeah. So that's why I always struggle. Actually, somebody said to me from France, a very smart young man. He asked me a question, and I wasn't sure how to answer. He said, "Okay, something. How do people claim to be Christians in the U.S. and then they believe in all this stuff?"
Because they don't know what Christianity
And
is.
yeah,
Christianity is going to church to these people. Christianity is reading passages from the Bible that they believe in for their own sakes, as opposed to what is for the greater good. And then they take that as, well, look, because I believe this from the Bible, that is the word of God, and everyone else needs to believe that because it's the word of God, it's the right thing. Like, no, that is the word of God written by several men from like back in the day, from their accounts of maybe there was too much mold on their bread and they wrote a crazy story. I don't know. Like, because they hallucinated.
oh, mold does make you hallucinate.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So, like, maybe that's why half the stories were written. People were, like, out of their freaking minds because they didn't know anything about penicillin yet. I don't know. But if you want to take that, stories about burning bushes and whatnot and say, oh, well, that's word of God. You got to believe this. You have to believe
Okay,
this.
even if so you believe in that story, but how do you apply that to today's life in the United States?
That's the whole point of church.
Right.
The whole point is to take a story from the Bible, not literally. Take the story from the Bible and use it and assimilate it to what's happening today. That's the whole, like when you do a sermon, that's what you're doing. You're reading a story and comparing it to how can we interpret that for today's society? How can we interpret it for our own lives? Like, what do we get out of this story of moral? Which we're not doing anymore. We're just saying stuff from the Bible and saying that's what you gotta believe. And that's crazy.
So wait, so when you left the church, after that, when you moved to New Hampshire, came back, moved to New York City, did you ever get connected with a Christian type person or a group?
No.
You try to stay away from them?
I don't think that they come into your circle when you don't
Appreciate their worldviews.
I feel like when you meet people, one of the first things that comes across is like where you stand on issues. Like it's the first thing you ask, like, oh, so like where are you from? What do you do? If you end up talking about religion or politics, which you shouldn't, people say you shouldn't do in a bar, but if you do, that tells you a lot about a person real quick. And I think that when you first meet somebody and they're more, you can test out somebody's morality just by giving them an anecdote and seeing what they say, or saying something about somebody and seeing what they say. Like if you see someone come in with a limp and you go, oh wow, that guy's got a limp. And then what's this person's reaction? Yeah, that jerk, or blah, blah, blah. Or like, oh, I wonder what happened to them. Like, are they empathetic? Are they mean? And that, when you find those kinds of people, you can see where they're, if you want to be around them. And then from there, you can see like what was your background like? Where you, like, what was your childhood like? That kind of thing. If they grew up religious or not. Jewelry with the crosses helps.
But I mean, I know some people who would wear a cross, just females, without having anything to do with it.
I usually, if you are wearing a cross, I will ask, because it's a curious thing for me. Like, I'm like, oh, are you really religious, or whatever. Like, oh no, it was a gift from my grandma or whatever.
Right.
But I don't think a lot of people talk about religion anymore anyway. And even if if you do go to church every Sunday, you're probably not hanging out at the same places I am.
Depends which kind of church.
This is true.
Yeah.
I mean, like Church of Satan or something. I'm just kidding.
Hey kids, don't go there.
I don't know. Actually, they have a really great.
Have you been to Church of Satan?
No, but I've read up on them, and this is the reason you should always read up on other people's cultures and religions, so you can form your own opinion, not just be told what to believe. And like the Church of Satan, they actually have a very good moral compass, and probably more than self saying Christians. You know what I mean? They're the ones. They're not the ones telling you you're going to go to hell. They're not the ones teaching you to hate other people.
You know, there's a verse in the Bible, in the New Testament, which says demons also believe, right? So demons are Christian too. The difference, so this epistle argues, what's the difference between demons and you so-called Christians, believers, is the action, right? And if you say, I've got faith, it doesn't mean anything until you put that into practice. Right?
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
yeah, I was going to say, what if Satan is Christian too?
Lucifer is a fallen angel.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is a catechism class. All of those who haven't been to Sunday school. Yeah.
but I mean, he was like right up there with God, and then he wasn't. I don't remember the story that well, but I do know that free will is something that people forget is something we have, and that you can't impose upon people how they should be living their lives, and you shouldn't try to tell people how to live their lives. Let people figure it out, and you can't come down on someone for believing something else, because wait, what if they're right and you're wrong? You know, I mean, nobody knows. Nobody knows. We're all sitting here. When you say God, right? It's such a personal thing of what God is to you. God could just be the universe. God could be a man in the sky. God could be energy. God could be, you know, whatever this is. When you tell somebody that they have to believe that there is a man up there with a gate that tells you can go in or out, and then there's a hell below us that if you are a bad person, you're going to go to. If you don't believe in this, if you don't do this, you're going straight to hell. No, like there's no if, ands, or buts. But there's the but. But if you would confess your sins to a preacher or a priest, and then you're good. What sense does that make?
Because the priest has the authority to forgive your sins in the Roman Catholic Church.
But that means that you can be the worst person in the entire world. You can actually be a horrible person as long as you go in there and confess your sins. Then you're got a clean slate, right? Go back out and murder 3 more people. I don't believe in that. I don't want a religion that believes that. That's insane. That's crazy.
It's a lot of power. And also, I think we live in a time where previously, I don't know, but it's very difficult unless a thing is experiential, it makes a logical sense. Saying to somebody, you're going to go to hell, what is hell, where is it?
Right, it's existential.
It's maybe not the best idea. Jesus, I'm giving an example. Zacchaeus came to my mind, tax collector guy, right? And I don't think Jesus was telling them, don't do this, do that. These people, if they got converted or transformed from their own ways, they had their own thought process
Right.
after a meeting with him. I think Jesus might have told that, there was a woman caught in adultery, and these men were like, oh, no, stone her and all that. It's okay, go and don't do that. And then don't do that was also for protection. If you're going to do it again, these people will kill you. Right?
Right.
I might not be there next time. It's not in the biblical world, I don't see that kind of force or judgment that we have these days.
It's true. The Bible, it tells you you shouldn't do these things. These things are wrong. Um, but it doesn't say you can't do these things. But also, I don't want a belief system that says the only reason that you need to be a good person is so you don't go to hell.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a good reason to be a good person. The reason to be a good person is to be a good person because it's a nice thing to do. It's what everyone should do. That's the basis of what whole Christianity is supposed to be.
Somebody would say once, if Jesus just came to die for your sins, why was he here for 32 years? Preaching and teaching and talking and living and all that. Right? And if your job is just to secure your heaven, then why are you here for 90 years, 80 years? Right? And it's and I don't have a lot of knowledge, but I think 19th century Christianity was interestingly different, and then evangelicalism evolved, going on like they really evolved, but became something else. And now a lot of people don't like church. That's why.
Well,
It's
religion is
irrelevant.
controlling. And the whole reason organized religion started in the first place was for control. Control the people. You don't want people doing whatever they want to do. You don't want people living their happiest life, their whatever they want. No, you don't. You want them to go to work every day. You want them to listen to you. You want them to be afraid of you. So be afraid of God. God. That's who we need. So they make God, right? God is the one that you need to fear. Before that, it was just the elements, nature. That's God. Yeah, fear getting hit by lightning. But is it because you were a bad person? No. Fear the universe because the universe created you. But if you fear God for all these stupid little reasons that make no sense, now we've got control over you. So we're going to teach you that God said this, God said that, God said this. Where is he? Where is he telling all these people now? Like, well, we got preachers for that.
A particular kind of group.
Nothing makes sense. So organized religion is all just a way to control the public by creating this overseer who is going to punish you if you're not good. You don't do what you're told. And to me, I just have a really big problem with authority. Since I was a kid, I was like, nope. Tell me what to do. So I never.
So how did you deal with the authority when you went to college? And also, you had a radio show in college, right?
I did. Authority. There wasn't a lot of authority going on in college.
No one gave you grades.
Well, yeah.
That kind of authority.
I was paying to be there. I was putting myself through college with help from my parents. But I was putting myself through college. I was paying for the classes. I was gonna go get A's because I wanted to stay there. I loved being in college, living like on my own for the first time, like living in a dorm with like a new person. It wasn't my family house. You're away from everything that you know, and it was a whole brand new experience. I got to reinvent myself, the way that I saw myself as opposed to the way that everyone I'd ever met had seen me since kindergarten on, right? Small town. You grew up with all these people from kindergarten to 12th grade. Everybody knows every single thing about you. Screw that. I'm not the person I was in 3rd grade. We're over here in 12th grade and you're still making fun of me for wearing pigtails. So, stupid stuff. So now I was over to, this is where Starry was born. And, for the last 25 years, that's who I am. And I love it because it's me and it's my genuine self.
You came up with this title yourself?
No.
Who gave you that?
I was, funny story. It was my like first day of college, and they'd given us our room assignments. So I went into my dorm and I go through my hall, and on each door, there was like signs with everybody's names on them, like who lived where. So the first door was like Jennifer and Jessica. The next door was Jennifer and Emily. The next door is like Jennifer and Jennifer. And then, there's our Jennifer and Ayana and Debbie. And like, I'm like, there's a Jennifer in every freaking room. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I know there's a lot of Jennifers. 1982, number one name, Jennifer and Mike. They're like top two. So, we're everywhere. So I went downstairs in the club and I was just like, I don't know anybody. Kind of like, I don't know how to stand out. I've never had to do this before. Everybody always knows who you are now. So this guy comes rollerblading up to me, like, bleach blonde, bright hair, a little bowl cut, the early 2000s. He's got these blackout contacts, so his eyes are black. He comes up, he's like, hey. And I was like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, my name's Florida. What's yours? And I was like, Jennifer. And he goes, no, it's not. And I was like, yeah. He's like, do you have a nickname? And I was like, Jen. And he goes, no. He goes, no one's ever going to remember you with that name. And I was like, thanks. And he goes, no. He goes, you're Starry. Come with me. And he took my hand and he walked me around and introduced me to every single person we met. Have you met Starry? This is Starry. Starry. And it stuck. And for 4 years, my professors called me Starry. My friends called me Starry. Campus security was calling me Starry. My parents started calling me Starry.
Even the other day, Rob called me and he was like, hey, Starry and I are on this Spielberg's movie.
That's how I identify.
I was like, oh, okay.
I haven't identified as Jennifer since 2000. It's like, that's my name on my, when I do acting and everything, I use Jennifer Tiberio. Because my mom was like, don't change your name. Family. And I was like, fine. But when I sing, I use Starry as my stage name. And when I graduated college, Facebook had just come out, and I was like, well, what name do I put here? Not knowing that would be my identity forever, It's like, what name do I put? It was like 2004, and I was like, if I put myself, and the whole reason I joined Facebook in the first place was because everyone I had graduated with, I wanted to keep in contact with, and that's how everyone was doing it at that point. And I was like, well, no one's going to know who this is if I don't write Starry. So I put Starry Tiberio on there. And that's been my name on there ever since. And because if I had put Jennifer, I don't think I would have connected with any of my friends from college. And now, we're on there.
Jennifer 1, Jennifer 2, Jennifer 3.
Yeah.
And
all the Jennifers. Yeah.
So what about the radio show? Why did you start your radio show? What was the need or the urge to speak to the broader audience?
So I loved listening to radio shows in the morning when I was getting ready for school.
Still, or
no, I don't even have a radio.
Now you listen on your devices.
Yeah, and I just put music on, like Alexa or whatever. I have iHeartRadio that comes on in the late, like at 6 p.m. It just starts up on my thing now, which I kind of like because they still have shows. And I was like, oh, I forgot how much I like this. But I've been listening to a lot of Loveline with Dr. Drew and Dr. Drew Pinsky and Adam Carolla.
I don't know.
And was the other thing? And Howard Stern was huge at the time. And I was like, I like this. Like, I like listening. I like, I like the call-in shows and whatnot. So when they said like, oh, if you want to join Radio Club, we got a radio station of WFPC. And I was like, yeah, like Pond Scum Radio. So I went and I wanted to get a show. I didn't know what my premise was going to be. I just knew I wanted to have a talk show and play a little bit of music. No, I wanted to do more of a talk show. So I ended up with a late night slot, Wednesday nights, 12 to 2 a.m. And to keep anonymity on it, I I did Sex Talk with Jen and Briar. It was me and this other girl, Briar, that I met. So we went on there and we started talking, and I'd get a whole bunch of like Cosmopolitan magazines and like just before like the internet was very helpful. And it was an old station, so we didn't have a lot.
You're still friends with Briar?
No, not really.
Okay.
I
Where's she?
what happened was we started doing the show, and we'd have like guest stars come on. We had like Dutchman, which we'd duct tape him to the chair, stupid little things. And we just had it was a call-in show, so I was like, just call in, if you have any questions about relationships, sex, or all the other things. I'm not a doctor, but I'm a sexpert. I wasn't. So people would call in with crazy stories like, I have a sparkling green rash on my genitalia. What do we do? And I'm like, consult a physician immediately. Like just stupid little stuff like that. And Briar would talk, and then people would cut her off, and like, then they'd ask me more questions. And at one point, she's just like, you know what? She's like, I'm going to quit the show. I was like, why? She goes, people just want to talk to you. And I was like, oh, all right. I mean, I hate it. Like,
she felt rejected.
Yeah, and I felt terrible about it, but she just didn't feel like she never really said anything. She just sit there and listened a lot, and then she'd be like, yeah. And that's like it. So then it was my show, and we'd been getting huge ratings. Everybody was talking about it. Like every Thursday morning, we'd go to class, and people would be talking about, did you listen to Sex Talk last night? Did you do it? Oh my God. Because, people call in, and everyone wanted to hear themselves on the radio and whatnot. So like, yeah. And I was like, and I'd hear what people were saying, and I'd write down notes and like improve the show.
Mm-hmm.
This is good. That's fun. Like, what else? Like, what did they say last night? Like, wouldn't it be cool if this and that? And yeah. So they had no idea it was me because I was Starry. And the radio personality was Jen. So then it was just sex, So about 2.5 years two years go by, and we've got the show, and it's become now the most popular show in the history of the campus. And we're getting like accolades from the radio team. It's like, yeah, everyone tunes in at Wednesday night. It's crazy. They're like, we got Overdrive. Then we got FCC regulated. So now it was going out to Ringe, New Hampshire, the town, instead of just on campus. So my show got shut down because they thought that the content was too racy for the Ringe collective. They thought that the old ladies weren't going to want to listen to it. Like from 12 to 2 a.m. on a Wednesday, who was listening?
Yeah.
So they were like, no, So I was like, I guess. And I was upset about it. But the entire school petitioned to have the show put back on. There was a petition going around. Everybody was signing. It was this thick, like just people. And they're like, will you sign it? And I was like, yeah. So I signed it. And then the radio club's like, yo, listen, dude, if you want to take it to the president, it's cool. Mm-hmm. But like, we can't do anything without his okay. And they're like, and we're the only ones that know that you're the person behind it. So I went in, and I was in a human sexuality class. It was my senior year. And I was using, I had been using all the information from that class in my show. Like, I kept it clean, And, if people were asking, like, use the cough button. So anyway, I went in, and the secretary's sitting there, and I was like, hi, I'm here to see the president. And she said, you can't just walk in there. And I was like, hey. And he knew us from the theater department because we brought our show to the American College Theater Festival and won the Kennedy Center. So he knew me because we were part of that whole thing. Put our thing on the map. So I went in and I was like, listen, I've got this petition. And I was like, people really love the show. And he's like, do you have a recording of it that's going to listen? I was like, yeah. So I had a little DAT tape, and I gave him the cassette. And I was like, here you go.
Oh, the DVD cassette?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he ends up listening to it. And I was like, nothing that I say on the radio show is anything that you don't teach in classes here. I was like, and some funny stuff in between. And he goes, He goes, I think you're right. He's like, I think that you should have your show. I don't think that there's anything wrong with what you're saying. I was like, and if you listen to what Howard Stern's saying on the radio and what like Love Lines is saying, I was modeling my show after those shows. Like, it's going to be funny. There's going to be sexual content, but it's going to be educational as well.
Right.
And he goes, yeah, I think that you're fine. So I ended up getting FCC regulated. They put me back on the air. And then it came out Sex Talk with Starry. And everyone's like, oh my God. So it was really an awesome.
So everybody knew that was your show after 2.5 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was wild.
Yeah.
So they're like, this is long. Yeah.
This part of New Hampshire is more sociologically conservative?
Yeah. Well, New Hampshire really is. It's a definitely a blue state. But it's the sticks, like the woods. It's up in the mountains. A lot of Republicans.
But the student body there, what kind of students were they? Very religious or not, or wild?
Rich kids, so they're probably Republican.
Mm-hmm.
Which I now, like when you say religion, like religious people are definitely Republicans in my head. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah.
So because you're leaning more towards conservative, and conservative goes hand in hand with what we call religion now.
I think they showing love. So there might be other people, like for example, a lot of liberal churches. A lot of people go there.
Yeah.
But they might not.
But they don't throw it in your face.
Yeah, they might.
They're not sitting here going, you need to believe.
Yeah.
They're going.
Or you are doing it wrong. For example, the conservatives I knew, they would, so a new movie comes in the market and they would go and read about it. Does it have a sex scene? Does it have a kissing scene? And they have their own boundaries, and we're not going to watch it.
Right.
So I don't know, like what you said, that if it's taught in the syllabus, if it's part of your life, even if you say, I'm going to get intimate with my partner after getting married, if you don't have enough knowledge, it might become a struggle, or your marriage or your relationship might not be that great. So then where do you go to get that information, to get that fun or comedy? I don't know what term you use, but it's all the relationship, dating, sex, and marriage. It has those moments of fun and flirt and being naughty and all that stuff.
I think that the one thing, and it's this tale as old as time. Who's the kid that gets arrested first? It's the preacher's kid. Who's the one that gets caught making out in the barn? It's the preacher's kid. Who's the one who does all the bad stuff when they're younger to get attention? It's the preacher's kid. So when you hold people down, like, and you oppress people from having enjoyment in life or being able to express themselves, this is something that I did when I left my home. I went to college and I went gung-ho crazy, stayed up for like 2 weeks straight, because my parents were not strict, but I had a really tight curfew, like had home by like 8 p.m. and, very strict in that sense. Like, we don't want you to be bad, so we're going to hold you down. And then when I got loose, I went crazy, which religion and the preacher's kid in this scenario, when, they got to go to church and they can't do this and they have this discipline. And then you want to break out of it, you go crazy. Unlike if you have this little by little teachings of good moral compass and you don't hold people back from being happy or expressive, then you're not going to go nuts. It's just going to be a nice transition into adulthood. But like when you hold with a religious oppression and you can break out of it, you're going to go crazy. Like Rumspringa for the Amish. It's when they let the young people go on a Rumspringa, which is I think kind of like a spring break, from the religion. And they could go out for the first time and do whatever they want. And if they feel like that's the life they want to live, they stay out there. But if they want to go back to being Amish, they can. So they give them
Opportunity.
the opportunity.
Yeah.
Although I feel that's a bit of a backfire because a lot of times they go out of control, and then it either scares them back into being Amish, or they're like, "This is how I'm gonna live," like a crazy person out there. So I don't know. Like, you can't do extremes and expect good results.
Mhm.
You have to have everything in moderation, and religion doesn't really allow that when it's organized tightly. If you have a religion, if you have an organized religion that is very loose and open and is there to teach real Christianity, you're going to have different results than when you oppress people and fire and brimstone and whatnot. So
it goes back to the same thing which you said earlier, that maybe a lot of church-going people don't hang out at the places I hang out. If someone claims to be a committed Christian, tries to be a good follower of Christ, what's wrong with him or her hanging out at a place their pastor or the broader community, Christian community, thinks it's wrong? And I think there is some sort of, I personally think, unreal expectation even from the leaders. Like, okay, I don't know what the pastor's kid, but pastor has to be, so can't really make a mistake, can't really do anything wrong. But in the end of the day, we all are humans.
absolutely.
Including the Pope.
How many priests get wasted drunk? Just to deal with the fact they can't go and have sex, or even in the Catholic Church, how much molestation has happened because they are not allowed to do certain things, as opposed to a softer religion like that lets your pastors get married and have families and normal things, instead of being married to God, or I don't know what priests.
I don't know why and when it was taught. In the Western tradition, I learned that. I learned that from a Roman Catholic professor. In the Western tradition of Roman Catholicism, we're not allowed to get married, but in the Eastern you are. I didn't even know there's an Eastern version of Catholicism.
Yeah.
And I just want to religion where concubines would be allowed. Seriously.
Don't we all?
Yeah, really?
No.
And I just have no way to get them.
Yeah, they're hard to gather.
Yeah. And then where to keep them.
Yeah, where do you put them?
You have to have the whole
At these rental prices.
apartment complex. Every floor has
Yeah, it's rough to hold the company.
Well, in the Old Testament days, that was easier.
I feel like they had a lot more space though.
Oh yeah.
Like everything was cheaper then. No tariffs.
No, also no, it wasn't prohibited.
Right.
Right. Having tons of wives and.
Well, I mean, there's always what is it?
But here's the thing.
The
It was only for men. I don't know. In Mormon,
right. Well,
I don't know in Mormon tradition it's for both.
Polygamy is not legal anymore. I know.
You call it polygamy?
Polygamy is it's the Mormons practice polygamy.
So a man can have tons of wives.
Yeah, but a wife can't, or a woman can't.
Oh.
Which is ridiculous.
So
if I want 1,000 husbands, I want 1,000 husbands. Do I want 1,000 husbands? No. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, 1,000 is a lot.
It's a lot of opinions. Yeah. I don't need.
So I wasn't thinking of opinion, but okay.
That too. I mean, they're probably the only benefit.
Yeah. And no.
If you're looking to build a few houses, I'm sure having 15 husbands is great. Get on that.
Even in Islam, at least the Pakistani version of Islam, we can't really have 4 wives. A lot of people, I can marry 4 wives. Because you have to have an approval from the first wife, and she can kill you. She might not give you can get arrested.
Right.
And there's a civil law too. It's very easy to say than to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, that's a religion in sex, right? Um, it's such a like so many religions are so oppressive with sexuality and sex and the acts of being sexual. Um, so when you're that depraved person that likes sex, you know, like everybody, um, now you're morally a horrible person. You're gonna go to hell for that. That makes no sense.
I think so again, people use things out of the context, and people, including the leaders. New Testament epistles. When the Apostle Paul, who has authored most of the epistles, when he was dealing with these communities, if you go back, you're Italian, I don't know how many times you went back, but he was dealing with people who were just going crazy, and he was helping them to have boundaries. Now, those boundaries, when it becomes part of a system and a structure or organized, and it becomes so black and white, I think that's where uh, it becomes confusing
Mm.
to some people.
Yeah,
Maybe
because it's a
like
gray.
us.
It's all a gray area.
It's like, so my first feature, right? There's a character who is, she calls herself a hooker. We didn't even use that. Tony, when Tony reviewed it, this writer, he called it prostitute. And she talks about her journey, how she ends up becoming someone who sells her time and companionship. I entitled the character Sophie. Sophia means divine wisdom. She talks sense. If she, and also there's a interesting, and I always do that. I don't know what percentage of audience understands
Except
it.
that.
Yeah. So we show her in, we start her character in less clothes, but by the time in the third act, she's a full-fledged with even with classes, because that's the way she is. But the world sees her as someone just like a arm candy, no eye candy, or just like an object,
Right.
and all that. So her arc, I don't know how many scenes she has, maybe 5 scenes. In that she's speaking sense, she's talking about life and struggles and all that. And there's one point my character says that, a person like you would be open healing to many. Wounded men, I don't know, wounded. Uh, wounded. Now I know religious people, groups from particular background, will never accept that. But if they see Joshua's, after Moses, Joshua became the leader of nation, and they killed everybody, or they went to whatever promised land they had. And I think Joshua instructed not to kill one family, which was the prostitute's family, helped these people. Same we see a prostitute helping the Apostle Paul and his fellows. There's a reason these characters are there. They were not forced or told, you are wrong, you're going to go to hell, so go and F yourself or whatever.
Right.
And I think that's the culture we live. Without focusing, empathizing, for the term you started, how standing in her, using a female example, her shoes, how did she end up there? Why she? What were her dreams? Why can't she look back? We tried to touch that in vision. Will people accept it? Maybe not. Small percentage might understand her, might understand her journey. I think we have, and interestingly, as a culture, There are few things we think they are the greatest sins of all, and killing babies might not be. Uh, Killing other humans who don't look like us might not be. Stealing at a bigger level might not be. Corporate level.
Right.
There are a lot of things we do that are against the teachings of Christianity, but we have these a couple of things right away we'll say,
And one of my questions for that to those people all the time is just why? No one can ever answer.
why that and not the other thing?
Yeah, why any of it, really? Like, well, why do you feel that way? Because that's what it says in the Bible. Or,
I don't. Okay.
or what, or
Everything. So, in the Ten Commandments, you are supposed to not do adultery.
right.
And I don't know how to phrase that. Or like you shouldn't lust over your neighbor's wife. I don't know if they say lust or
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Don't covet your neighbor's
covet.
wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there are that's if you study in the logical sense, there are reasons, and then it's not like you are not to. It's not like a.
It's not a law.
Yeah.
It's a moral compass.
Compass, exactly. It's about moral values and beliefs.
Yeah, like don't covet your neighbor's wife. That's his wife.
Not
Get your own
yours.
wife. Get your own wife. Like
Yeah.
don't commit adultery because it's gonna hurt the other person. That's why. Not because it's a law. Well, I mean technically. But
Mosaic law. Yeah. No, it's not about that particular how to say physical action we're talking about.
right. But like you have to ask yourself why you feel a certain way. Why do you think that it's okay to kill people because they don't look like you? Because they don't look like you? That's sort of a reason? That's crazy.
I don't even know people think, and that's the thing. When a trend becomes, when you're told just to hate, let's say, prostitutes, or hate a particular kind of people, you don't really think why.
Right.
And again, going back to World War II, I don't know a lot of people thought what they were doing, which they were told to.
Yeah.
And mostly people like to be followers.
Yeah, it's all middle America.
Even around the world. Leaders and visionaries, the percentage of visionaries.
You get one charismatic person to get up there and talk to you about it. Could be a preacher. It could be a president. It could be, I don't know, Hitler, whatever. Like somebody with charisma got up there and told you something.
Charismatic guy? I don't know who. I've only seen pictures of.
Well, I mean, he spoke with passion and made people believe that he was doing it for the right reasons. Like, he was very convincing to people that were oppressed. I can bring you out of this because these people are doing bad things to you. Kill these people and better things will happen to you. And you're like, kill the people. That'll help me have better life.
They're the problem.
And then that's what a huge mentality happened. I was like, that's insane. And do you know how easy it is to manipulate people?
No.
It is so easy. I did a social experiment when I was in high school. We were getting taught about Hitler and the Nazis and everything. And one day our history teacher was like, I'm going to show you a movie. So we watched this movie called The Wave. I don't know if they still show it, but they should. The movie was about this professor who's like, young and cool, and he's like trying to teach kids history, and nobody's interested, and like he's trying to teach them about Hitler and whatnot. And the guy goes, one of the kids is like, well, why would all these people just follow him? Like, why wouldn't they just think on their own? And he's like, well, and he explained it's a manipulative process to tell people like, well, these people are the ones hurting you. It's not us. And if you follow me, I'll make things better. And you want to believe it. So they're like, I wouldn't be swayed. I'm not stupid. So the teacher goes back and he thinks about like everything that the kid was saying. So the next day he comes in and he's like, hey, everybody, back to a new lesson, whatever. And he's like, I had this great idea. He's like, starts telling him about this club that he's formed, called the Wave. He's like, yeah. He's like, um, and it's got all these great ideas and like literature and things like this. And like everyone's like, yeah, that sounds cool. He's like, yeah, if you want to join, like we'll sign up. We'll meet after class and we can, do wave stuff. So they all start like signing up for the thing, and then more and more people start joining this club. And some people are like, that's stupid. Like I don't want to read your crap. And then it gets a little more intense, and the more people that join, that he starts giving them more like manifestos, like this is what our thing's about. And they start like locking in on it. Like these are our values, these are our core. This is who the Wave is. Now they have a sign, they see each other in the hall and they do a little symbol, But so they do the sign in the hall, and if you're not wearing like the t-shirts, like the Wave t-shirts, it's become a movement. But some people are like, that's stupid. Like now there's a fight in the hall. It's not stupid. Okay, so now there's fights about it. Like, oh, you guys like you all keep following each other. You guys are all just stupid. Blah blah blah. So now there's two different groups. There's the people that are like, the Wave is dumb and you guys are all just conformists. And then there's the Wave that's like, if you don't join the Wave, we're gonna beat you up. Mm. Now it's gotten to the point where all the other teachers are saying to the teacher, they're like, yo, you gotta stop this. It's getting out of control. They're fighting in the streets, they're fighting in the hallways, like, yo, history teacher, dude, this isn't cool. And he's like, you're right, I gotta stop this. So he goes and he tells him, he's like, there's gonna be an assembly. He's like, the Wave has spread through all of the different districts and the schools. He's like, we're all meeting up and we're gonna have a huge assembly after school, 3:00, meet there. The Wave is gonna be there. Ah! And everyone's like, ah! So all the kids that didn't join the Wave were like, we gotta stop this. Mm. So like there's small groups. So like the bats and whatever, and they're going after school, and everyone's gathering in assembly, and the teacher gets up there and he's on the podium. He's like, "You ready to meet the leader of the Wave?" And they're like, "Yeah!" And they open the curtain, and it's Hitler on screen yelling and in German, and they're all just sat there like they just joined the Nazis, basically, and they couldn't believe, like, oh my God, and that's how he taught the lesson. That's how it happens. I wish they were still showing this movie.
People should learn that, because I think, now getting a little political here, Indian-Pakistan wars, I don't know how many wars, one after the other. It's the same type of thing. Like both these groups, they get fueled.
Yeah, pit the other one against the other one.
Yeah.
And then the leader is like, hey.
You're probably laughing, yeah.
It's happening right now.
Yeah. Over there it's violent, because they make movies together, not all, but in a couple of languages they make movies together, and then the war breaks out and everyone deletes everyone from the social media. After 10 years they try to, maybe 10 or less, they mend their thing again, and then it's like, there are movies that it's a business. War is a business.
It is a business.
And I just don't understand why highly educated people will buy that philosophy.
Well, that's the thing. So I was like, I could do this. So I, after seeing this movie, was like, I could totally do this. So I started up a club called La Resistance. And I had a whole manifesto, just basically saying, are you a nonconformist? Do you not fit in with other people? Do you want to join our group? Like, if you're like one of the goth kids or like one of the outcasts, and it's like, just sign up and, we can all hang out together. So I got 60 people to join this club, a nonconformity club, which is ridiculous because it's a nonconformity club. And I got at least 60 people, and everyone gets a free t-shirt. So I made all these iron-on t-shirts, and our symbol was a smiley face with fangs. So in the hallways, I was like, when we see each other in the hallway, we got to do the symbol, which was the fangs. And so people were doing it. People were wearing the t-shirts. I made like iron-ons of everything. So everyone's wearing these little La Resistance t-shirts with the smiley face, walking around, doing the symbol. I can't believe they're freaking Hitler people.
So Why did you join politics and decided to
Because I think it's
become
evil.
an actor?
I think it's, well, I feel like it's easier to get your message spread out if you are in front of a microphone all the time than it is to uh, lie and cheat and steal and be part of politics. Because I think once you're in politics, no matter how good of a person you are, there's eventually a corruption that you can't get away from. And it's not because of your politics; it's because of the system.
Yeah.
And I thought it's easier to talk to people from a platform where people love entertainment, and you can't go wrong with being an entertainer, and getting a message out. It's easy when you win an Oscar, you just fucking tell everyone how you should vote. But I think that with that level of being it so easy to manipulate people, I find politics just abhorrent, and I never want to be part of that. Let people live how they want to live. Stop being an asshole and like.
No, politics, I don't think, should control your individual desire and taste and choices.
Neither should religion.
But I think the organized religion started there. So when we use it on religion,
Well, religions become
it
politics.
is. Yeah. I mean, it's, yeah.
I mean, they're like church and state, but they are one and the same thing. There's a guy up on at a podium telling you what to do, and telling you what you should believe, and where you should go, and who you should hang out with. And I think that both of those things are just, I'm so.
Both are to facilitate people, but unfortunately.
To control people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And religion, the reason I'm saying, for example, if you go back in the history and see, I'm thinking of a movie, I think it came out in the 80s, The Mission. So how the bishop or whoever is the higher then bishop from Spain,
Pardon?
they sent a mission to South America to colonize, right? And then they took back all the gold.
Right.
And there's a priest, I think, in that movie, De Niro was playing, I think so, who stands for the faith. And the other people even burned him down and his poor little group, right?
Yeah.
So that's why the term religion to me right away it has a negative connotation, or it's supposed to tell people this is the right way.
Right.
But I had more
We're
hopes from
far past
politicians.
that now. Oh
Yeah.
my God, we're thousands of years in the wrong direction with it. So.
And the faith. That's why I try to use more like belief system or the faith, considering that positive.